everyone. Welcome to my live segment on the League of Gluten-Free Adventurers. Today is Friday, May 19th, and I am so happy to have you here with me today. I love doing this, and I love getting to be a part of this community. I am so grateful and so honored that all of you have joined me on this adventure, that you have signed up and said, yes, I do believe that this can be an adventure instead of a drudgery, like we can make this gluten-free life into something special and beautiful and amazing. And I am just so thrilled that you have signed on to that today. So my name, once again, is Miri Pizann. I am a gluten-free coach, and I have been gluten-free for about a decade at this point. I've been through all of it. I started at the same place that everybody else started with, what do you mean I have to stop? What do you mean? And like you go through that phase where you feel like you can't eat anything ever again because gluten is in everything, isn't it? But as you keep going, as you continue to learn and to grow into your gluten-free adventure, what you discover is that you can pretty much eat all the same foods that you used to. It takes some tweaking, it takes some adjustments. It won't be exactly the same, but it is possible. It is possible to live a beautiful, delicious, safe, and sumptuous life. And you can have the beautiful and the delicious, yummy, safe meals at home and out and about. You can eat out at restaurants, and I'm able to do that. I am living proof that this is possible, and now I want the same for you. So that's why we're here today. All right. So today's topic is a little bit of a touchy moment, but is God gluten-free? And I should probably clarify when I say that I'm not actually talking about the nature of God. That is not my job, and frankly, that is just not within the scope of this group. But God's followers, absolutely. So what I want to talk with you today is how to incorporate your gluten-free lifestyle into your religion or your spirituality. Now, for some people, it's certainly easier. Food doesn't really play a part, and more power to you. Off you go. You're great. But there are those where either it is some sort of requirement within the religion that you eat certain foods or you partake of certain dishes or foods or whatever. And if some of those happen to be traditionally made from wheat, such as like a communion host or challah, or matzah, whether or not you eat challah is kind of, it's a good idea. It's like a traditional food in Judaism, but within the religion, eating matzah during Passover is actually required. So what do you do? How do you deal with this? And I mean, there's no pat answer, just like for anything else in life, right? Uh, from religion to religion, and then even within each religion, from religious leader to religious leader, things are going to be different and the answers are going to be different. And the trick is to find something that suits you and that is safe for you and still follows your religious requirements. So I do know, for anyone who is not aware, that there is such a thing as gluten-free communion wafers. They also have something called low gluten communion wafers, and or host wafers, and I'm not sure what the difference is, but anything that's labeled low gluten immediately flies my little red flags. Like, if you need to be strictly gluten-free, if it's not something you just do on the weekends, I would be very careful about something like that. Now, when it comes to challah and matzah, there are actually recipes out there. And it is, I know that challah in particular, you're required to have at least, I think, 55% of one of the four grains, wheat, rye, barley, or oats. So if you cannot tolerate oats, you're going to have to talk to your religious leader about that and figure things out. But I also know that in Judaism, it is more important to guard your health than it is to follow the rules that are written on the page, because they understand that, you know, like your health comes first, basically. So that is my understanding. That is how it has been explained to me. But again, it depends on your religious leader and your rabbi or whatever. But gluten-free challah exists. I have a wonderful recipe for it. I've shared it here in the group before. And it's not my recipe. It was written by Erin Goyoaga. And by the way, y'all, if you have not tried challah ever, you need to try it. It is delicious egg bread, and it is just, and it's meant to be ripped and shared. There's none of this slicing stuff. You rip into it and you take a piece and you share it with those around you. So it really is the breaking of bread that people talk about. So gluten-free challah exists. Gluten-free matzah exists. I am not now, the gluten-free matzahs that I have seen available in my area are not considered kosher for Passover, probably because it's not following all of the rules. So again, this is something that you want to talk about with your rabbi. And those are the two that I know for certain. Once we get beyond those two religions, I am unclear about what other religious requirements are. But honestly, the answer is still the same. There are ways to work around it if that is allowed. And if it's not, you need to speak with your religious leader. And if you are nervous about how to talk to them, this is absolutely something that I can help you with. This is something that I do help my coaching clients with. So feel free to drop me a message and I'll see what we can do. So overall, I would say that the situation is actually resolvable. And, you know, of course, there are the people who just skip it altogether. They're like, no, I don't want to deal with the gluten-free stuff. I don't trust the cross-contamination. I don't know where that thing has been, you know, and they won't touch it at all. And you know what? That is perfectly legit as long as it is something that you are comfortable about. But if you find that your religious leader is giving you a hard time about it, then, you know, this is something that you need to sit down and talk with them about, because it's important, and your ease and comfort within your community is important. And frankly, you know, regardless of what we think of the job of our religious leaders is supposed to be, the truth is that we have to be our own best advocate every step of the way, and that includes in religion. So like I said, if you have questions, drop me a message or send me a private message, and I would be happy to talk about this some more with you. But overall, I do think that this is a resolvable situation. It just requires you to do some footwork. So that is the topic that I wanted to talk with you about. And oh, I do see some people. Come on in, say hi, drop me a hello in the comments if you want to. But I don't see any questions about that coming up. I did get a question earlier on that I wanted to share with you from, you know, my mailbag. I'm not, my inbox, I don't know. What do we call that now? But Belinda wrote to me and she said, I have a recipe. Let me see. It says, I have a recipe for my grandma's cookies and I miss her so much. Oh, I totally understand that. These cookies were one of my most favorite memories of her. I used to love baking cookies with her. How can I convert the recipe to gluten-free? Belinda, that is a great question. Oh, I see Julie popped in. Hi from Julie. Hi from Julie. Hi. Yeah. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. Hi, Julie. I'm so glad that you're here. So, uh, Belinda, your grandma's cookies. You have a bunch of options actually. So if you're up for experimenting, you can start by replacing the wheat flour in your recipe with a standard gluten-free one-to-one flour and see how they come out. Now, I do want to specify you need to make sure that you're using a one-to-one flour, because I have run into bakers who are like, well, coconut flour is gluten-free, I'll just use that. And that is not a good option. You will end up with very tiny, beautiful little bricks that will just be crunchy and hard and bricks. You don't want to do that. So make sure that it's a one-to-one or a cup for cup or some, but where the indication is that you can replace an equal amount of wheat flour with this flour. So you can, and see how you come out. You might have to try a couple different brands. But if this is an important family recipe, this is something that's cherished, you absolutely, like, this is worth a little bit of time, because what you're going to do is you're going to do all the work up front, right? And then you will have this recipe figured out and tweaked exactly the way that you want it going forward from that point on. So you might have to like try it out, see how it comes out, maybe have the recipe so that you're not like ending up with so much. But try it. You might tweak the liquid a little bit, add a little bit more, take out a little bit, depending on how each attempt comes out, and keep track of it, write it down, and just experiment with it and see if you can figure it out. The next option, you can start with a recipe that's already gluten-free and then tweak it a little bit to make it taste more like grandma's. So this is something that I actually do all the time. I will go and find a gluten-free recipe that already exists, that's so close, or like just a basic standard one that's close enough to what I made. So I used to make chocolate chip cookies off of the bag of the chocolate chips, and when I tried converting that early on with my one-to-one flours, it just wasn't coming out good. It just wasn't working. The texture was off. It was bad. It was really bad. And I was still learning how to gluten-free at that point. So I didn't know what I needed to do to experiment to get back to what I know and love. So what I did was I went and found other people's gluten-free recipes. Like King Arthur, Bob's Red Mill, all of these different places, they all have recipes on their website for various different things. For, the standard, most of them have the standard recipes that Americans love. And I'm sure in Great Britain, like Dove, and then in Canada, President's Choice, I am positive that they're going to have recipes on their website that use their flour, because that's what they want. They want you to use their flour. So if you start with one of their recipes and then be like, yeah, it doesn't quite have the right enough vanilla. Put a little bit more vanilla in, and you can tweak it that way. But that way you're working from a recipe that you already know from a chemistry standpoint works, right? And so that one is kind of like more of a hack, I feel like, but this is one of the techniques that you can use in order to improve your recipe and get it closer to what grandma had. And a third option, which is available in this group, is to ask a professional chef. We have a professional chef in the League of Gluten-Free Adventurers. And if you posted and said, hey, Patrick, I need help with this, I know that he will do it. Now, he might ask you to ask the question over in his group, but like, you have access to this. So absolutely take advantage of it. Like, we've got this, so you've got this. This is a resource that is available to you. And Patrick is absolutely a joy to work with, and he is amazing. He is a wonderful chef. If you have tried any, no, I'm not going to say any, but like, he is one of the consulting chefs for Better Batter. And a lot of his recipes show up on the Better Batter website. So if you've ever tried one of those and you really liked it, he's the guy, and he's in this group. So definitely, like, he might have some ideas for you. I also know that Chef Alina over in her group, actually, Patrick and Chef Alina together, they both co-host that group, and they are both wonderful if you write to them and ask for help. So that is everything that I have. What's the website, Julie? So it's betterbatter.org, BETTER, and I believe it's .org. And he's got great recipes. But like that is also, like I said, that's one of the websites that supports a gluten-free flour. So any of the gluten-free flours, they're going to have recipes on their website. It's what they do. That's like how they help you. Absolutely, you are welcome. So that is everything that I've got for you today. If you have any further questions, please do drop them in the comments. I love chatting with people about this. This is like, it's what I do all the time anyway. I'm constantly thinking about this kind of thing and how can I make, my food yummier? How can I make it so that the mainstream eaters in my life can't tell like that they're eating gluten-free? That is my goal in life. So I love talking about this stuff. Anyway, thank you so much. I hope that you have a fabulous Friday evening and that you have a gorgeous weekend. And I will see you again very, very soon. So, yeah, take care and I will see you soon.